I got involved with childhood cancer when my nephew was diagnosed 4 years ago.
My sister in middle school was diagnosed with a brain tumor.
My daughter Madeline was a completely typical 3-year-old child up until 3 weeks before her 4th birthday. They did an emergency MRI and they found a brain tumor on a perfectly otherwise healthy child.
It was hard. You know, immediately you hear cancer and you think of adults and, you know, people passing, and that stuff rushes through you.
It just hit us out of left field. So we were thrown into the oncology world all of a sudden overnight.
It was a lot of knowledge you have to retain. So having people like Tabitha and Team Hailey Hugs where you can get out and get that information hands-on, you know, because if you haven't gone through it, you can't say you know what it's like.
The organization exists solely because of my daughter Hailey Stewart. We started it when she was diagnosed with leukemia in 2012, and it started as just Team Hailey Hugs, where we would do things to pay it forward, or we would even do things that would bring happiness in other people's lives when we were feeling the worst in ours.
There's a lot of us, surprisingly. They say cancer is rare, but it's not. Childhood cancer is not rare. And of the kids that are diagnosed, 1 in 5 will pass away. So that's pretty startling. So it's really not so rare. The astounding part is how many kids are still fighting here in Maine. There's 200 kids currently fighting at the Maine Children's Cancer Program. There's over 400 that are still, you know, going through the scans routinely, because once you're diagnosed, it's a forever thing. You're constantly looking to see if it came back. And just since last September 2017, they've served over 70 families and over 150 since their inception. So Team Hailey Hugs is really there for the Maine cancer community, and their motto is "We are all family," and they really do embrace you into the family in a time when you're going through hell on earth. They find a way to make sure that you're part of the family and find the good sides to things, and they're there for everybody going through this journey, and it's completely priceless.
Hailey's heart, I think, was bigger than the size of Texas. When I first met her, I think she was 5, and she worried a lot about other people.
I drove to Bethel and met with this beautiful little girl and her awesome mom, and just we chatted, and I fell in love with both of them immediately. And she loves Tom Brady, Hailey, so I do too. So we had that in common, and so I've been attached to Hailey and her mom ever since, and was really happy that she had a few extra months more than everybody was hoping, and was able to tell her story and kind of introduce more people to her and what she was all about.
When she would come in to visit after her treatments were over, she had gifts for kids. She was always worried about, why is he sad? You know, what can we do for him or her? She always had a hug and a smile, and her heart was big and still is, and she's shining it down now, and she really wants to still make people happy to this day.
I think the first thing is when we hear of a new diagnosis, there's money sent to that family with no expectations. The fact that your life is going to change forever, so whatever you put on your story at that moment, tomorrow, it may not be that story anymore.
Kind of no questions asked other than a diagnosis. They sent us a check to be able to, that we could use for anything like travel expenses for gas, or really anything that we saw fit.
They've been tremendous about reaching out to us and trying to provide any kind of assistance that they can for us.
We have helped over 100 families so far to date, mostly within the last 2 years. And throughout their treatment, if they ever have any financial strains, a mortgage or whatever, we help them.
I cannot understate the overwhelming role that Team Hailey Hugs has had in helping to serve our patients and families. It's been just tremendous, and we really just can't thank them enough.
We have done toys for kids for Christmas. We have hats for Hailey. We collected over 500 hats and distributed within New England for all the cancer hospitals or clinics. We did Pajama Drive, which is a wind tower ride where everyone, instead of bringing money, they brought a pair of pajamas, and all those pajamas went to the Maine Children's Cancer Program, Barbara Bush, and some went to Boston. And then we did a refrigerator drive. We raised $12,000. had a refrigerator put in all the rooms at Barbara Bush. We decided to get towns to sign a proclamation declaring childhood cancer awareness in September. So out of 432 towns, so far we've gotten 61 towns to sign the proclamation declaring Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and they do something in honor of childhood cancer during September. And plus advocating. I go to the State House, I'm working right now with representatives to come up with ways of funding research right here in Maine. My big thing is funding everything I possibly can for Maine, for our children in Maine.
Team Hailey Hugs is really unique in that they're an organization that has 100% that goes directly to the people they serve. They take no admin costs off. Tabitha works tirelessly for absolutely nothing.
We're trying to get a childhood cancer license plate. We need 1,500 more prepaid applicants, and once we get to 2,000, then we'll have a childhood cancer license plate in Maine, and the proceeds will go to Families Fighting Cancer and the Maine Children Cancer Program for research only.
So the license plates are designed, they were designed by Hailey. That was one of her biggest hopes and dreams before she had passed, was that these license plates would become legal and they would pass. They have a butterfly on them, they're gold, and they have black writing, they have Team Hailey Hugs on them. And they don't have Team Hailey Hugs on them for Hailey, they have it on behalf of all the families that are battling, because Team Hailey Hugs isn't about Hailey. It's about Hailey, but it's also about all the other children suffering and fighting, and the families that are really getting this impact on it too.
So all these other things that we do outside our organization will fund the Maine Children Cancer Program. And I wouldn't have it any other way. And I know my daughter wouldn't either.
We can do this. I know we can. Together as one, as a family, we can do it. We are all family, no matter what we are. If we are tall or small, little or short, no matter what we look like, we are all family. God knows that as well as we do.
Because of my daughter, you know? I just don't want people or families to hurt like I do, or like she did. And if we can at least give them a little bit of a relief with something, even support, then it's all worth it. She's given me a mission, a purpose, and that is to fulfill her mission, her purpose. And I'm gonna keep on doing that, and for the families for as long as I can.